In this video, I'm going to talk about two companies in the industrial real estate space. Both are publicly traded real estate investment trusts. I've owned one of them before, and I just bought the other one today. I want to share with you a little bit of background on the industrial real estate REIT sector, as well as why I think this one's interesting. First thing that I have to put a caveat on is I might be the worst stock picker out there. I routinely make stock choices that go the opposite way. So do not rely on anything that I'm saying as stock advice, and instead do your own due diligence before investing in anything. But I do want to explain why I'm investing in the stock. And I follow the industrial real estate market quite closely, and I just have a fascination with industrial real estate investment trusts in general. So first one I want to talk about is Prologis. And Prologis is the world's largest property owner, not just industrial real estate, but the world's largest property owner. They just bought a company called Duke Realty last year for about $23 billion. Takes their market cap to about $113 billion as of today, and they own about 1.2 billion square feet worth of warehouse space and distribution centers, major markets all over the world. I'm a big fan of Prologis, so much so that I even have the Prologis Industrial Real Estate Edition of Monopoly. It has a little tear in the seal up here, which I'm a little disappointed about. Might have to open that sucker up one day. But I follow Prologis quite closely. I believe they're a bellwether for the industry because they own so much real estate. What's happening with Prologis is probably going to trickle down to some extent through the rest of the market. And they put out a lot of great market reports, which I read regularly as well. So I'm just a big fan of them in general. My problem with them on why I am not a shareholder right now is I think that their stock is very expensive. The yield on it right now is just over 2.5%. And I think it's so high priced because there's so much growth projected into it. They've got a great management team. They've got a great portfolio of properties, but they're also factoring in a lot of growth. And their company has grown a lot through acquisitions. The Duke Realty acquisition last year of the $23 billion. They had a few other major acquisitions in the $10 billion range the few years before. And I think that they're going to continue acquiring more and more companies going forward to continue on with their growth. And to move the needle, they need to be pursuing larger companies. Interestingly, there's another real estate trust this morning, Industrial Realty, which just got bought and is going to go private. That one was about $880 million. That right now wouldn't be enough to move the needle for Prologis. They need to be going after bigger fish. And there's not a lot of industrial REITs in that range. So that leads me to Stag Realty, which is one that I just bought today. They're about a $6 billion market cap. Their yield is 4.26%. So my idea with buying this, and again, this is not an endorsement of the stock. This is me gambling as much as it is doing any prudent investing. The reason I have most of my money invested directly in industrial real estate is because I am not a good stock picker. So I've probably beat that home, but just do your own due diligence. But I'm looking at it as gambling. I think that Stag will be a takeover target at some point in the next couple of years. It might be Prologis. It might even be another larger company that goes and looks at a company like Stag. But if you can make a 4.26% return yearly, which isn't even a T-bill right now, so there's definitely some risk on there. But if you can get a decent dividend return with the upside potential of an acquisition bid coming in, which would be a spread higher than the current stock price, I can see a lift in the stock. And again, you're getting decent dividend with growth possibilities. Even if the stock doesn't get acquired, I think that their portfolio, I've looked into a number of their properties, they've similar type of properties to what Prologis owns. If you're bullish on the industrial real estate market in the long term, which I am, I think having a little bit of money in a stock such as this one, which can be easily liquidated, is not necessarily a bad thing either. So I look at it, decent dividend yield, some upside potential, some big upside potential if it does happen, and limited downside risk. I say limited because we all know in this interest rate environment, we might see another increase or two. This might last into 2024. I don't think anyone has a crystal ball on this right now. So I bought the stock. It could very easily go down on the next rate increase. But again, I think given enough time, this is a stock that I'm comfortable gambling on. The other interesting part that I just want to talk about with the industrial real estate market is how fragmented it is from an ownership standpoint. So the US market alone for industrial real estate is about 21.5 billion square feet. And even if we assumed all of Prologis's inventory was in the US, which it's not, it's in other markets, but even if we just assumed those all in the US, they've got 1.2 billion square feet. So the largest property owner in the world owns less than 5% of the market. And it drops considerably after Prologis is taken out of the equation. So I think that there's an area of potential consolidation that could happen where larger companies try to consolidate properties into larger entities. And if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised to see a company like Stag continue to attract investor interest. Perhaps they grow independent of even any buyout talks, and perhaps they're the company that's doing acquisitions down the road. But the fact that the industrial real estate market is so fragmented seems to me that there's areas where companies can try to take advantage of that. So anyways, that's my spiel on why I think Stag could be a good candidate. Ultimately, I'm still very bullish on the industrial real estate market. I will continue putting the majority of my net worth directly into industrial real estate products because that's something that I am clearly very passionate about and have a long-term outlook for it as well. Let me know if you had any stocks that you've come across recently that were of interest, or if you're also like me and focusing more just on hard physical assets like real estate. I'd love to hear what you're up to. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.